Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome back to the Free, Happy, and Abundant podcast with Stephanie Yael. So, today I want to talk about something that is being talked about a lot, but I hope that I can bring you a different viewpoint to this topic. So, the topic being, how can you tap into your true purpose? And I know many of you are looking for meaningful purpose in your life. And from my own experience, I know this can be a really difficult and lonely journey, especially if you have like a purpose that's not very obvious. And if you're not in an environment that supports your purpose, which is usually the case when you're a high vibrational soul that has incarnated into lower vibrational environments to uplift others and bring light and wisdom. Because then what happens is that you're not being reflected back who you truly are at your core, and a lot of conditioning starts clouding your mind, and it can get really confusing as to who you are and what you're here to do. Because the conditioning and the reflections that are distorted that you are receiving back from your environment, which is a very much lower environment than what you hold at your core, will not reflect back accurately to you. And on some level, you know that, and that's creating frustration and potentially delay in recognizing why you're here. And I think I already said it, but I think the biggest thing that happens in this very specific circumstance is that you start becoming frustrated or even depressed, because it's just like a lot of hopelessness starts building, because you're like, what am I doing here? On a soul level, you know you have an important mission to fulfill, but it's almost like it's there, but you can't really tap into it. You can't really reach for it. You can't really access it, right? I think somewhere I read once that when you incarnate into this life, you receive, it's almost like you have a computer with you, and you know that all the files that you need are on this computer, but you don't even remember that you have this computer and that the files are there. There's just one like vague feeling of something is missing, but you don't even know everything is already there. So anyway, that was a bit of a tangent, but I just want to make people feel more understood that are listening and tuning into this podcast, because I know how important this is from my own experience, to start getting to know yourself better when you feel seen and understood by somebody else who's been going through the same thing. So, how to tap into your true purpose? You know, I've been on this journey for a long time, and it's been really intense. And at one point, I started struggling with finances, and I was caught in a survival mode, right? And I couldn't really focus on my purpose anymore because I was so focused on surviving. But somehow I needed to get out of this survival mode, and I started thinking, how can I get out of here? Because whenever I wanted to tap into my purpose, my mind would come in, or just my thoughts would be like, yeah, but you need to make money. It's like you need to survive, blah, blah, blah. All these like survival instincts, right? They don't really allow you to create space to tap into what you're really here to do. And there is this illusion that you need time, but you don't really need time. You just need to tap into the right spot. And this is, again, really difficult when you're in a survival mode. So if you're currently in survival mode, this podcast is really here to help you get out of that without having to fix the survival mode. Because there is no fixing. You don't really need to fix something. You just need to tune into it from a different angle, because everything exists in the quantum. So everything is already here. It's just harder to reach when we're in survival mode. So what I did when I was in this place where I felt like I'll never get out of here, because first I need the money, and then maybe I can start refocusing on my purpose. And I was a bit like, I'll never find it. I haven't found it in the last years, or I haven't really found my thing. I found like the area I want to work in, but I didn't really feel like I had found what I really wanted to do. So then one day I was walking outside and I was like, I really feel like I'm so close, but logically, I was like, I'm so not close because I feel like, again, I need to fix something first. And then my higher guidance came in and said, okay, ask yourself this one question. And that's the question I want you to ask yourself in order to tap into your true purpose. What if you didn't need any money at all? Let's just really create this scenario of living in a world where you don't need money, where you are provided with everything that you need. And I'm not saying this in order to, I'm not relying on this like spiritual thing that you will be provided with. No, I want you to really envision a world where money doesn't exist, where survival mode doesn't exist. And I know it's hard when you're in it to detach from that. So let's just do this in a very playful way, okay? I'm going to invite you to tap out of all the like shoulds and this is just how it is and all that like blah, and come into this utopic world with me where you don't need to make money in order to survive, where money just isn't a thing. Let's imagine you pay with your energy. Because I know that if you're still tuned in here, your energy is high and your energy is very valuable. So let's just imagine we're living in a world where you have like a bank account based on your energy. So your energy is currency and you don't have to do anything for it. Just be yourself. And whatever you want, whatever you need, you can access or receive through your energy. Okay? So money isn't a thing. You don't even if you had money, it wouldn't serve you. You would not be able to pay anything with it. So you can really forget about it for a second. So what would you be doing then? What if you didn't have to chase after how am I going to make money? How am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to make more money to fulfill that certain dream I have? Okay? How am I going to make more money to buy that car? It doesn't matter what you want. It can be really a material thing. It can be a emotional thing. Whatever it is, just come into this world with me and think for a second. Feel into your being, into your soul, because your soul doesn't really care about money. That makes it a little bit hard sometimes in this like 3D world, right? So again, what if you didn't need any money at all? What would you enjoy doing? I mean, really enjoy. Not just, yeah, that would be okay. That wouldn't like suck. No, what would you really love doing? Where do you lose track of time? Where can you not get enough of? Where are your passions? And there is another tip here. You're probably already doing that. It's probably already in your life without even noticing that it is in your life. Because if you're on a spiritual or self-development path, you're already cutting out what isn't serving you and keeping in your life what is serving you. And usually what you love doing is so close to you and so natural to you that you don't even see it as special or as a gift or as your purpose. Or it seems not like a purpose to your mind because maybe it doesn't have to do with creating something. Maybe your purpose is to be happy. And then how can you be happy? And that's a really good example where the money thing already comes in and stops you in your tracks, because it's like, well, there might be a belief that in order to be happy, you need certain things, right? And let's say certain material things like a beautiful home or your dream car, or even like being able to fulfill some of your dreams that aren't really materialistic, like having beautiful experiences, like going on beautiful trips and all this stuff, right? We need money for that. I mean, let's just be honest. All these spiritual people who say, well, you can be happy without it. Of course you can, but money gives you freedom, and freedom might be something that makes you happy, okay? Do you see where I'm coming from? But then again, usually we don't allow ourselves to go that deep, because then these thoughts start coming in and are sidetracking us from our true desires. That's why this question is so important and so vital, and it's really you have to come back to this utopic world of what if money wasn't needed at all? Because then these thoughts automatically lose their strength and you can keep going into the direction of what your true purpose is. So in my particular case, I realized, okay, if I could just do whatever I want to do all day long. First, I was like, I don't know. I still don't know because I'm already in a place where I can do what I want and I haven't really found the right thing at the time. So that's what I was thinking. And then I'm like, but what I really enjoy is like teaching myself all this stuff, like guiding myself, right? Finding ways to get out of certain situations in a different way. Finding new solutions, finding new internal pathways, finding new ways to clear blocks, and just to get to where I want to go on a soul level, on an emotional fulfillment level. And that's when I realized that I was already doing it and that I really enjoyed that, because I was like, well, if I could really just do what I want, I would just continue doing what I'm doing, which is diving, like being the student and the teacher. Being the student, like consuming a lot of spiritual self-development material and then applying it to myself, like finding my way out of situations or out of like dead ends and just creating a better life for myself continuously. And I realized, well, I'm doing that all day long. I'm teaching myself all day long. I'm tuning into higher guidance for myself to understand how I can move forward into the happiness and fulfillment and abundance that I'm looking for. And the only reason I couldn't recognize that that was part of my purpose was because I was doing it so naturally that I didn't even realize that that was what I enjoyed doing most. And I was so focused on trying to fix the situation, chasing the thing that would fix the situation, that I didn't realize everything I needed was already there and I was already doing it. I just needed to recognize that. The recognition was the missing piece. So, and only when I could let the survival mode go for, and like for, this wasn't even very long. I'm telling you, this happened on a walk. And the moment I was on that frequency where I could believe for 5 minutes, okay, where I could convince myself that, yeah, okay, if money really wasn't a thing in this earthly realm, yeah, what would I be doing then? You know, and that's what I want to give you today is really just this phrase, but it's not just a phrase. Imagine yourself and tune into that frequency, tune into really feeling it for a short amount of time, and what comes from there. What is your soul telling you when you can put these earthly problems aside? And then the second tip is, it's probably something, your purpose is probably something you're already doing, connected to something you're deeply desiring. Okay? So I'm going to leave you with this. I would love to hear your comments, your experiences, and your feedback on this episode, how this is working for you. If you had some breakthroughs, if you had some new ways of looking at your situation. There might not be a breakthrough, okay? There might not be the final answer to this. It's never a final answer, but I hope and I'm convinced that you will get a new way of looking at your life by using this hypothetical scenario. And you know what? Once you realized, oh, I'm already doing it, all I have to do is understand and honor that I'm already doing it and hone in on that and celebrate this more. Because in the end, it's all about your energy. And once you start to understand that you already have everything and you're already doing everything that you want to do, it accelerates the journey, and things, the earthly things, will sort itself out. Maybe not overnight, but on the long run. More than trying to get out of a certain situation by trying to fix something and trying to acquire a new skill set or reprogram something or getting a different job that pays you more. Okay, these are all like outside external steps we can take, but it doesn't really get to the root. Sooner or later you'll find yourself in the same situation. So this is some kind of shortcut. And why it is a shortcut, it's because it's tapping into the quantum realm. Okay, it's almost like taking the elevator and going like, okay, I'm on level 0, I want to go on to the top floor. I'm just gonna push the button that goes to the top floor. But you have to understand that there is a top floor. And other people might not understand that there is an elevator that goes to the top floor, and they take the staircase, and that's why it's taking them so much longer. That's the analogy for looking for a different job that pays more or trying to fix something. It's like taking the staircase to the next level, to the next level, to the next level. It might take you a bit longer to understand that there is a lift, that there is an elevator that has a hidden button that when you know it's there, it actually will appear, that will bring you right to the top floor. All right, this really wanted to come in as well to just emphasize how energy works in the quantum. And I'm going to be closing this podcast. I thank you for listening in, and I really look forward to speaking to you next time again. Bye.